Hey y'all, and welcome back to another mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know people through their favorite R&B songs. I am naturally Elise, and that's my bro.
JR.
And today we are talking to a very good friend of the show, Porsha. Hey, boo, hey.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here, you guys. I absolutely love you guys. So thank you for having me. I'm so excited for today.
Yes. So, Miss Porsha, tell the people a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you would like to tell.
My name's Porsha. Porsha from Canada. I live all the way on the West Coast. I love R&B, but I'm mainly hip hop. So whenever I talk about music, it's always going to be hip hop first. And R&B is kind of like the attached at the hip sort of genre that I go to as well. So when I take my, hour of a break from hip hop once every month, I'll go to R&B and kind of soak up as much as I can. So that's me.
Love it. So tell the folks what song you decided to talk to us about today.
Yeah, so I absolutely love the format of this, you guys. Like the fact that when I got the invite, JR was like, you pick the song that you want to talk about. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Because it's like I get to choose, right? So I picked my go-to. And of course, when it comes to R&B, my absolute favorite, I talk about this on Apartment 5B all the time when I can. It's Boyz II Men. It's always Boyz II Men. They are my go-to group. I've loved them ever since I heard them. It was like an instant love, but this particular group is like second, and this particular song is going to be the first song I go to if it's not going to be Boyz II Men. So it's Tell Me by Groove Theory. It is so clapworthy because I know everyone loves this song and everyone loves Groove Theory. Everyone loves Amel and just everything about them and her, but I never hear people talk about it, except for when someone brings it up, and then it's always, praise and accolades and like, oh, I love this, and so I love that. I've never heard anything bad about her or Groove Theory or this song, so I'm so stoked to talk about it.
Yes, the excitement. I love it.
Yes, y'all. I'm so here for it.
Now I feel it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Tell me. Yes. So how about you tell me the first time you heard this song?
Yeah, so the first time I heard Tell Me was actually it was March of 90. I think it dropped in 95, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I heard it a few months after that. There was a Persian sort of party celebration happening in, Winnipeg, where I kind of grew up, and the DJ played this song. And I was like, wait a minute, this was the closest thing to like a hip hop beat that we had playing at that party.
Mm-hmm.
and it was a huge party. Like they rented out a gymnasium at a university, so it was like huge. It wasn't like 50 people or whatever. It was like, I don't know, I think there was probably upwards of 300 people there, so it was like a pretty official DJ like equipment. So music was mainly Persian, and he slipped in some English music, they like to call it, like English speakers, and this song comes on, and I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Who is this? And thankfully my brother was also there, because he's always the one who sort of remembers the songs and then tells me about them later and then gets me the cassettes or the CDs or whatever. So that's exactly how it happened. It was one of those things that I think it was just the vibe of that song just kind of stuck with me. It hit me and it never went away. So that's when I first heard it. A few months after release, from what I can remember.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. That is nice.
So what elements of this song makes it your one of your favorites?
I think, R&B always sort of gets a little bit of heat about being too simp or like, too emotional or things like that. And that's why I love R&B, is because it kind of elicits those sort of feelings that you otherwise may not get from other you know, types of music, especially hip hop, like if we're being real, most of the time in the same way. So for me, I love this song, really the lyrics. I think it's just so sweet. And the smoothness, like the voice, the melodies, the just all of it. That's what kind of sticks with me. That's what kind of stands out to me when I think of this. And that's why I've always ever loved it. I was telling you guys before we started recording that whenever, all throughout the years, as long as I can remember, when someone was like, hey, Porsha, I want to make you a mixtape. What do you want me to put on it? I'm like, Groove Theory, tell me. It better be on there. I don't care what else you put, but that better be on there. Napster came out, I downloaded it. LimeWire, I downloaded it. Like, it was always my go-to. And I think that's the reason. I would attribute it to the lyrics, and I still love it. And it still hits the same. It still hits the same. Like, it's like a timeless song for me.
It is.
It definitely is. Now, I would. The reason that I love this, because I also absolutely adore this song.
Yeah, JR told me, as soon as I told him the song, I was like, no, I need to make sure no one else has like mentioned this, or, you know, you guys haven't talked about it. And he was like, okay, what is it? And I was like, it's Tell Me by Groove Theory. And he was like, oh my God, Elise is gonna just love this. And so I'm like thrilled.
Yes. So what I love about it is, and the reason I asked the question in the way I did of what elements, because it's so many things about that song that I love. One being the sample.
Right.
You know, so it bridges me back to that, you know, 70s, 80s. That's my time for music, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hip hop influence on it. But then you have this heavy hip hop beat with this angelic voice.
Yes.
Yep.
And it works.
Yes. Yes.
It's like she floated on, like, I can't even really describe it. It's such a float.
I agree. I totally agree with that, because it was like with her, it's like you said, it's so hip hop based. You know what I'm saying? The base is hip hop. And during that time, again, you had Mary coming in. You know what I'm saying? She was like the queen of this, and her voice was kind of strong. But then you had a male voice that was so smooth. Just okay, you ready? All right, so what I liked about this song, actually, because like y'all said, the hip hop was such an influence on it, to be honest. And during that time, it was like Mary was in, and then you had the SWV that was in. So it was kind of these strong voices, and Amel's voice was so smooth under this strong track, because you hear the drums, you hear the keyboards, you hear everything on it. You know what I mean? And for her voice to be so smooth, and then for Trey Lorenz to be doing the backgrounds on it. You know what I mean? And everybody, like, Trey Lorenz deserves a lot more respect too, because he has done background for a lot of other people than Mariah. Because everybody think just Mariah. This dude has done so much background for people, but him under it, because I'm a fan of him, I can hear him. But before then, it was like I just heard Amel. I was like, did she do her own background? Then, of course, reading the liner notes, I was like, oh, Trey Lorenz is on this joint. Okay.
But you know what? I always listen to the backgrounds of this song because, and I'm going to tell you why, because, you know, a lot of people during that time, they thought it was Bryce singing.
Yes.
I mean, I did too. I didn't know any better. And then, you know, over time, I realized that, no, he's just a producer.
Right.
And, you know, a musician. I didn't realize that was a whole other person. Then when I found out it was Trey Lorenz, I was like, oh my, you know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So for that, and then it was crazy because the first time, like you said, I listened to it, the sample got me, the All Night Long from the Mary Jane Girls, which is so funny, Porsha, because we had one with Eddie from Apartment 5B, and his song was All Night Long by the Mary Jane Girls.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That is like super connected.
Y'all are so connected. And we told Eddie after the end of the episode, we was like, yo, Porsha picked Tell Me. He said, get the hell out of here. I was like, yes. I was like, yes. So
yeah, I didn't want to tell anyone because I was like, I don't want anyone to steal this. They're going to get there before me. Like, no way.
Yeah, that's why I made sure, me and Elise made sure we told him at the end of the show.
Yeah, good call.
Like, nah, Porsha wanted this for her own, and that's it. So for y'all to be so connected, but that's what got me was the sample. You know what I mean? Because that sample comes in so hard. You know what I mean? And then for Mel to be just riding it like that and all that, it's just an amazing song. Like when you think of 90s R&B, Tell Me is a song that must be on your playlist. Like if it's not, then we got a problem. And I don't think your playlist is a great playlist if Tell Me is not on it. Just
facts. I agree.
Have either of you ever listened to the acapella?
No.
Yes, I have come across it. I can't remember where, but someone sent it to me. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, she is so amazing.
See, back here, I have it. That's not the whole album. I have the 12-inch of Tell Me. Oh. And so it has the acapella and all that on there. So, and it sounds so dope. You can, I don't know, you can still kind of hear the music in your head when it's playing.
Yeah.
But it's surreal listening to a Mel song's acapella, period.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause her voice is so smooth and it grabs you in. So I could imagine just hearing the vocals on Tell Me. It probably is like out of this world. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I love her voice, you know what I mean? And I love it. And Bryce knew, and them two together, I mean, they made magic. I mean, you know, he wasn't the only one producing the album, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot more people, but I love how he did this interview and he said that he's very hip hop based. You know what I'm saying? And he said that's his core for him. So when he, you know, made this beat, he was thinking of songs like Smooth Operator by Big Daddy Kane. He was thinking about, you know what I'm saying, Around the Way Girl. And what bugged me out, because a lot of people don't talk about this song, he was also thinking about Can't Wait by Redman.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, that's right. The beginning of it, that sample of All Night Long. So I was like, oh, yeah, he's the core of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And we know he's very R&B based. So bring both together, I think that was brilliant. That was just brilliant. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
So how has this song affected you in any way, or how you listen to music, or
honestly, this just kind of falls into the same. I've always ever been lyrics. That's applicable when I listen to hip hop. I'm always lyrics over production. Everyone knows that. I'm very out loud and vocal about that. And I think like I heard this song early enough that like when I got really heavily into R&B that it kind of stuck with me, you know, and that I kind of followed the same thing, and that's what I kind of wanted from R&B afterwards too, is like, no, if Amel can do it, if Groove Theory can have like meaningful, sort of emotional and like kind of stick with you, hit you in the heart kind of music, like I can have that as a standard for like pretty much any artist I listen to. It doesn't have to be, you know, the go-tos that are sort of like, you know, like we know Sade is very like I can almost not listen to a Sade song and cry. Like she like just brings out the tears all the time.
And you talk about that all the time.
Yeah, like she has the most emotional discography out of anyone on the face of this planet. Like it's just really weird, but in the best way possible. But it's the same thing. Like I know that there's the go-to artists that do that, and so you know, like okay, they're gonna give you like emotional. They're gonna, you know, kind of pull on your heartstrings a little bit. And I love knowing that there's like the groups like Groove Theory. Yeah, they're not always going to be brought up. They're not always going to be highlighted because like you said, Groove Theory came out at a time when Mary's very popular and she's just kind of, Mary's large, right? She's got a fantastic presence, and it's always been about Mary, and you know, Mariah Carey's dropping things left, center, and right, and then you have like SWV, like you said, and all of these R&B, you know, acts, and then so like along the way, like that's what Groove Theory kind of showed me, is that doesn't always have to be the core group or like the people that are known for that. There will be groups that will surprise you, or like songs that will hit you that way. So just kind of pay attention to what is being said, how they're kind of, it's a vibe. I don't know, Amel's voice is like, Elise said it, like angelic, and so soulful. And again, like I don't know, and again, you guys, of course, being the R&B gurus that you are, I don't know of any other, like, at the time, I don't remember Groove Theory being like front and center in any kind of situation, really. They were never really like giant, like charting and topping charts and always on the radio. It was never really like that. So
they really wasn't, because it was like, I think when you think of Groove Theory, everybody, the mainstream world that's not really into the R&B like that knows Tell Me. You know what I mean? But they had other singles, like they had Baby Love and they had Keep Trying and they had these records on and they were big.
The soundtrack, they had Hello,
It's Me. Yeah, the remake from the Isley Brothers, you know what I'm saying? So they had songs, you know what I mean? But a lot of people during that time, and we talk about that too on the show a lot, we say that it was so many people in the 90s. So a lot of people kind of got swept under the rug, because I feel like that Groove Theory album is freaking amazing. Like,
it's a perfect album.
It is. You come into it with 10 Mile High. That to me sounds like a In Division's record, like a Stevie Wonder did something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling of it. Because if you listen to like Too High or In Divisions, you kind of get that vibe from 10 Minute High to me. You know what I mean? Like that is just a dope record. And, songs like Keep Trying, which is very inspirational. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's an inspirational record. But for me, the song that hits to me on that album is the last song on the album, which is Boy at the Window. I just love how Amel, she did her own background on that record. And you can hear it, and it's such a smooth song. And to end the album like that, I'd be like, damn, I want more. Like, why does it have to end? Like, damn it, man. But that album, I wish it would have gotten a lot more love than it did. You know what I mean? But again, there was so many albums out then. And then I think during that time too, that Bryce kind of got more of the shine than Amel to me. Because like Elise said, everybody thought that was him doing the background vocals on Tell Me. Everybody thought he was doing the backgrounds on helping her on Keep Trying and stuff like that. And it wasn't. So.
And I think a lot of people thought that he was a sole producer. But if you go and look at the liner notes, it's Amel too. And for the rest of Amel's records, it's Amel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mel wrote her own stuff too, right? She's a writer, so I know that's like kind of hard to find in R&B too, for the most part. Like a lot of R&B singers, especially in the 90s, mid to late 90s and beyond, were taking songs that were written for them and performing them, right? So it was really difficult to find somebody who, I mean, even I didn't know Amel would have written that until you would read it in the liner notes, right? Like until you see that she's credited for the writing, because I would just assume like, oh, some songwriter, wrote it and gave it a baby face, wrote it and gave it to her, kind of thing. Like it's one of those situations. So to me, finding out that not only did Amel like sing that song so perfectly, then she's also, involved in the writing of it, I was like, come on, you are like the jack of all. She is a Swiss Army knife. Like she kind of does it all, and again, I don't know why we don't talk. I do see love for Amel on the TL. I do. I definitely, every now and then I do see people be like, she's so beautiful. She's so talented. She's so, we love her. She was like, this, that, and I love seeing that. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just wish that Amel sort of had, like you said, it got more love than it did, especially that song. And everyone loves it. I don't know what's wrong. Everyone loves that song.
Like, Tell Me is huge. Like, when you think of a 90s joint, that is on a playlist. Like,
that's the ultimate, Yeah,
it gotta be on there. But I think my problem with Amel is during that time, you had to have a lot of personality.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, again, hip-hop was becoming very dominant. And with R&B, you got to have some type of personality. You know what I'm saying? Like during that time, it was like, again, Mary was giving us that B-boy type of that I can hang with the dudes. You had SW.
Well, and she was linking with Method Man, and she was like,
yeah. So she was giving us that, and then you had the SWV girls that was around the way, but they still. It was like,
and then you had Total, who was linking with Big. So then you also had
you see what I'm saying? So it was like with Amel, it was like she was just smooth with it. It was like they wanted. It was like she was just giving us, you know, like she doing the video. That was it.
She was just doing her own thing, you know.
I hope everybody picks up on these little like puns that Elise keeps throwing in here. I love it.
It was like, you know who I kind of, with her personality, I kind of put her with like A. Marie as far as personality.
Yes, I mean? I absolutely
like,
agree.
Personality is just kind of like, this is me. This is all you gonna get. If you take it or leave it, I'm not giving you that extra this and loud and giving you all of this. They just kind of like smooth, and this is me.
But even A. Marie, didn't she link with Nas on Rule?
Yes.
Yeah. So like again, I think of Tell Me, and I'm like, God, I wish there was like a hip hop mesh of that, you know, like a remix, like a Pete Rock or DJ Premier remix, where like, I mean, even Craig David had the 7 Days remix, right? With I know we're going all over the place. We're talking about now. We're like flying to London and talking about friggin' Craig David, but you know, like Craig David had who was it? Mos Def and I think it was just Mos Def and DJ Premier mixing on 7 Days remix, and that was like. Honestly, when I heard 7 Days, I was like, this song's kind of corny, like whatever. I don't really, Craig David, whatever. And then this remix drops and I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? Like this is gonna also be on every single freaking playlist ever. And I always wish that there was that little component with Amel so that she had the DJ Premier remix under her belt or a Pete Rock remix under her belt. And I don't think, as far as I know, there isn't one. Right? Like Tell Me doesn't have a remix. And I wish it did because it already has the hip hop element. It already has that soulful voice. If you just what's Elise telling me?
No, not for that. I feel like Baby Love had like a hip hop remix.
It did.
But that song didn't get as big as Tell
Me.
Right. It had the Summer Groove remix.
Yeah.
Which I actually like better than the album version, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you did say that you like that one better.
Yeah, it got that thump to it, you know what I mean? And that's what I think, like you said, Porsha, I feel like if she did have maybe a Pete Rock type of thing, or, you know what I'm saying, a somebody like that.
Tryin' had a hip hop remix.
It did, but it didn't get no love. I think everybody wanted that Tell Me, and that was it.
Yes.
It's like how Elise say it, they put our artists in a box and that's it. Like, give us that. And if you don't give us that anymore, we're going to move right along to somebody else. And I think that's what they did with that. And also, you got to also remember producers were very kind of like your mind and that's it. So Bryce probably was like, no, we don't want no Pete Rock remix.
Right.
We don't want that. And it's kind of unfair because if you want to really keep it real, yes, Bryce, I'm about to put you on blast. I'm sorry. But Daryl Brown was actually more of the producer on the album, to be honest with you. It was really Bryce playing the keyboards and doing all that. But it was Daryl Brown that really did a lot of that production work on there. You know what I mean? Shout out to G, because G always lets that be known. So I had to give him I had to give him, but it's the truth. So I think back then a lot of producers, because Mary was like that. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Ben wanted to work with her, but Puff was blocking it. He was like, nope.
Well, that's like a Puff trademark, though. We know that.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
You know how Sean do. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. But also, it might not have just been a Bryce thing. Remember, Amel, Swiss Army Knife? She's like, well, I'm going to outsource what I can do.
Right.
That's true.
Because I'm sitting here looking at her first album after
she's so
Groove
beautiful.
Theory.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And I'm reading, so listen. So, all songs written and produced by Mel LaRue and LaRue, her husband. Executive producer, Amel LaRue. And then it's Amel LaRue, lead vocals, keyboard, bass, Rhodes, shaker, keyboards, all backgrounds. You know?
It's all her.
She does it all. Yeah, she really does it all.
And I think that was the reason why they kind of broke up, right? Because she felt like she was stagnant. Like,
yes,
Bryce wasn't letting her kind of do all it's like, okay, I can write you the song, but you ain't letting me kind of do other things. You know what I mean? So maybe,
I would love, like, if there was an opportunity to like sit and chat with Amel, I would love to know if that ever crossed her mind. What was like the temperature in the room, so to speak, when it comes to, linking with directly a hip hop producer or like hip hop MCs at the time back in 95. Like, I mean, our favorites were at the top in their prime, right? So,
yes.
And Amel was at, she was gaining a lot of traction. Mm-hmm. Everyone loved Groove Theory. I feel like she probably had a lot of friends in the industry. I feel like it was just a phone call. I wonder if that ever crossed her mind. Was it ever, in the works? Was she ever kind of flirting with the idea and then maybe something happened and it didn't ever come to fruition? But I would love to know how, like, in and around that sort of thing.
That would have been dope though, for her to get with, you know what I'm saying? Like,
with if you listen, if people want to know what I'm talking about, they haven't checked out 7 Days Remix. It's very difficult to find, but it's on YouTube. Like, if you hear that, DJ Premier does like the scratches in there at the most perfect time. Yeah. Most does this verse. Like, Craig David is still like, kind of the star of the song. It's his song, but it's just so perfectly scratched. The hip hop verse is amazing by most. Like, I think Amel would have just been brilliant in that kind of setting as well, like her vocals could complement, and she's one of those people that we could have been sitting here now being like, she really complimented the rapping of
That's true.
Fill in the blank, true. Right? So
very true. I can see that, and her voice is so different. It was so different than everybody else that was out, so it could have worked. You know what I mean? It would have been like, whoa, this is different. This is different from what this one doing, or this one. It's like a whole different, and it's so smooth. And our rappers then was so animated. You know what I mean? So it was like she could have smoothed them on out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would have been so dope. It would have been so dope. Like, I think the only thing maybe, or something that would have been just as good as Tell Me would have been a remix for Tell Me. And one with, like, I wish I could A&R it. Like, no, Amel, you sit here, let me go get your MC and your producer, because I'm going to bring in P-Rock and DJ Premier. Then we've got the scratches and horns covered. I can go and outsource like a rapper. We're golden.
And that could have been a crazy video or something like that with like everybody. And it could have been like the Brat Give It To You video, like with everybody in it and just jamming to this dope record. Cause it's like, yo, like this song is epic. Cause I also knew, Porsha, when you thought of when you think this song, me and Elise was laughing because there's some crazy people on social media, as they're right, Elise. There's some crazy people on social media that you had to kind of 1-2 check 1-2.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna preface this by saying people have this idea in their head of one hit wonder, but I don't think they understand what hit means. Hit doesn't mean number one record. It means it charted, it played on the radio, people are familiar with, like, it's a lot of elements to what constitutes a hit, right? And so people want to say one hit wonder because they know one song. And so somebody, like, as they try to come for me, it's like, oh, you talking about those one hit wonders or whatever. I can't remember how they particularly said it. And I was like, no, they said, it's like, well, name 3 Groove Theory songs. And I named them 4 in like 10 seconds after the message came. Like, so it wasn't like I was looking them up,
Right.
And they kept on going. I'm like, yeah, these songs charted on R&B radio. I was there, so I remember hearing those songs because I listened to Black radio. And on top, then I'm like, it's like, you want to know how big Groove Theory was? one of my most anticipated releases was this, and I got the CD the day it came out. Like it was lit, and it's just a trip of how people don't think about other people's experiences. They just go straight to, well, in my town, they didn't play it. Well, guess what, boo? You don't live in every town, USA. You live over there. Like, you don't even consider that different people have different experiences, but you won't even open your mind to even imagine that. You know?
I remember that day. When they came on. Oh my God! After Elise put up like those 4 songs, the person stopped responding.
As they should.
Because I mean,
it was done. It was like.
So they knew I didn't look it up because it was like
instant.
And then I love how she was like, I was there. And then another thing, I am an R&B rep, so I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. I said, well, drop the mic on that one. I'm like, oh, shit, like.
And I always tell people, like, where I was living, and I say this on Apartment 5B all the time, so like anyone who watches our show knows, Winnipeg, Manitoba is like north of, it's like three hours and a bit north of Fargo, North Dakota. So it is like literally the middle of the prairies of the most boring province in all of Canada, like entirely. So if Groove Theory got to my ears, trust me, they were bigger than what you're talking about. And I say this about rap too, like about hip hop, because people are like, oh no, like nobody heard, you know, just because it didn't hit New York, it wasn't big. For example, Outkast. Like if I'm listening to Outkast there, if I can get a hold of like Outkast there, believe me, it's not just Atlanta listening to Outkast, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're a little bit bigger than that. So yes, Elise, I'm glad you addressed that, because people kill me when they say that, oh, well, I know that it was a one-hit. No, you don't. Wherever you live, the world is much bigger than your little like 10 houses neighborhood, okay, bud? Like, I get it.
Exactly, and that's what it bothers me when they do that with this Groove Theory period. They'd be like, oh, they one-hit wonders. I said, okay, you could say that Monster was a monster record. Like, tell me what's a monster record. We're not gonna sit up here and act like Keep Trying wasn't a big record too. We're not gonna act like Baby Love and the remix was a big record.
Well, like, just that whole album was like just that whole album. I remember that album cover wasn't even the most exciting album cover ever, but it is like ingrained in my head because it was everywhere. Like there was copies upon copies. Like everyone sort of had it, and people were kind of sharing it and burning CDs. I don't know if the viewers know in 2021 what burning CDs were. But like, you know, we're burning each other's CDs and things like that. Everyone had that album, I feel like. Just off the album cover alone, like it just is so familiar.
It crossed over.
Yeah.
You know? And I love how they try to, you know, with this neo soul, where I don't like that word at all, but the neo soul, they actually say, if you look in like a lot of, you know, when people actually talk about neo soul and started in like 95-ish, they'll say D'Angelo, they'll say Maxwell, and they will also say Groove Theory was a part of that too.
Yes, Brown Sugar D'Angelo. Next time I'm invited here, I'm picking a Brown Sugar D'Angelo song.
Oh my God,
that's my dude.
Oh, listen, girl.
You know that's what I call him. Like people are like D'Angelo. People are like, oh, Porsha, do you listen to D'Angelo? Like, do you mean Brown Sugar D'Angelo? Yeah, but he has more album. I'm like, I know, that's his name, unofficially. Unofficially, he's Brown Sugar D'Angelo. There's hyphens everywhere.
Just because of you, that's what I say now. I be like, D'Angelo's Brown Sugar. I do not even say Brown Sugar no more.
I love it.
Where did you get that from? I'm like, Porsha one day
I love it.
5B was like, I love D'Angelo's Brown Sugar. And I'm like, from now on, I say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And speaking of D'Angelo, so and I kind of mentioned this when we talked to Zoe about Voodoo.
Yeah.
That and at the beginning you said "Tell Me" is your song that you put on every freaking playlist. Well, mine is Spanish Joint, and I'm off of Voodoo of D'Angelo, and
I forgot about that.
And that's but I did it like unconsciously. And one day I was going through all my playlists I made, and I realized that it was like on every playlist.
Single one. That's me with Tell Me.
And not
my
at the end,
sister,
not in the middle. First song.
The first song. Mine is Tell Me every single time. And my sister is like, God, like, do you realize that you put this song on every single mixtape ever? And I was like, yeah. She's like, and it's always the first song. I'm like, because I need to know that it's there. Like, I don't want it to, I want to be able to put this in and that be the first song I hear every single time. So
it's not so hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get you from boom, 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 boom. And then she comes in, like,
oh my God, it's just, it's honestly what I imagined heaven sounding like, honestly.
Like, it sounds so dope. Oh my God. Oh,
I know.
This song is amazing. It really is.
It is honestly in my ranks. I just want to be very clear on this show. In my ranks, it is Boys to Men, and I've got like 1,000 Boys to Men songs in my number one spot because I cannot pick between any of them. And then it's literally Tell Me right below it. So it's just, that's just how I rank R&B.
I can dig it.
I know you love Boys to Men too. Bro. I know you love Boys to Men too, JR, so that makes me happy.
At least rocks with Boys to Men. Like, we on this show, we have to take up for them a lot. Like, a lot, because people are so like
hard on them
when they talk about Boys to Men and they don't get it. And like Elise went on our radio show, went on like a 7-minute rant about Boys.
I love you, Elise. That's awesome.
Off. You hear me? And she was right. And there was so many people coming back to us was like, well, damn, she do got a point. This is Jodeci fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of them was like, damn, you make a lot of sense. Because Elise would be like, y'all motherfuckers act like y'all wasn't singing Boys to Men songs just like y'all was singing Jodeci too. Like, so you know.
I was there. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So you know when Porsha, you say Boys to Men, I'll be so happy when you talk about it on Apartment 5B, because me and Vern will go back and forth. Like, we'll be on our phone, be like, go off, Porsha. Yes.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Yes. Oh, God.
Oh, man. This was great.
Wasn't it, though? Like, we can talk about this song for like 2 hours if you let me, but I'm putting it on mute.
Yeah, because I was about to go on a whole other tangent.
I can't even believe that time is like past. Like, I just could talk about this with you. If you guys want to have me back for a Boys to Men show, I am 100% there. We can talk about all my number one songs. I have like 50 of them in the number one spot. So.
Oh man! Oh yes, we just gotta send you the calendar, and then you.
There you go.
Yes.
So, let the people know how they can find you if you would like to be found.
On Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche. Again, it's mainly hip hop, but I do have some hip hop breaks, and then I'll get onto my R&B stuff. But yeah, on Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche.
And I got to shout out, like Kill said, Apartment 5B, the Apartment 5B family. Porsha does not like Drake, and she loves Troy.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Two irrefutable facts about Porsha.
It's very true. Thank you, JR.
I can't allow for that.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. And
thank you guys so much for having me.
And we definitely want you to come back. So
I love it. I can't wait. You guys, this has been great. I had so much fun. Thank you.
Your energy is everything.
Yes.
So yes, we also want to thank our viewers for hanging out with us as always. Yes. And we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That. Peace. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know people through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro,
JR.
And today we are welcoming our brother in music, a very, very good friend of the show, Darius. Hey, boo.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Darius Thompson, also known as Mr. Dress and Rest. I am the host and founder of No Goofy Shit Podcast, where we have a special segment called Soulful Sundays that we do every Sunday, where we honor our Black pioneers in music and entertainment. and those that made amazing contributions. And so, yes, I am here with my good fam.
Yes, yes. Giving
People,
us all V-neck. I'm here for it.
It's summertime. I was feeling a little sexy,
Yes.
yes.
feeling myself.
Yes.
Just a little
So just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. So wee bit.
So tell the folks what song you came to talk about today.
Oh, today, a classic, one of my all-time favorites, in general, no matter what the genre. It's Don't Ask My Neighbor by The Emotions. Yes. Classic, iconic, just amazing. I love that song.
Yes. So when do you remember first hearing that song and how did it make you feel?
Oh, I was a little tight. I was probably like 5. Yeah, like 5. And I was at my grandmother's house on my dad's side. And, she's a huge Emotions fan. And she used to play music around house all the time. And that was one that really just stuck out to me. The way it starts off, it's almost like a lullaby. It's just real soft and sensual. And then once you hear these women, first of all, like it sounds like one, but it's harmonies, right? Let's get into that. And their approach on the song is almost like a quiet storm, right? It's not really aggressive, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It just hits. And their delivery and the diction, and as a little boy, I always loved music, but it just caught my attention. I wanted to hear it all the time, and then I wanted to hear other music like that. And so I know for a fact the Emotions play a big part as to why I end up falling in love with En Vogue. Because of their harmonies and deliveries on songs. And ever since then, I remember asking my grandma, like, who the song was by, and it just followed me ever since. And that was in 1995.
That song is epic. I must say, it is, because when you brought up the harmony stuff, it's like, the girls now, they don't they don't know too much about that. When it comes to the harmony, they don't know too much about that. So you bringing in the harmony, and like you said, it made you love En Vogue, because that's what Tommy and Denny was looking for. They wanted the harmonies to match like an emotion, but they wanted every girl to be a solo fix. But they wanted their harmonies to sound like them, because when it comes to harmonies, the Emotions is top dog.
Top dog.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they real top dog. And then y'all just did y'all verses. You know what I'm saying? With the harmony queens, the Jones girls, and the Emotions. So we was hearing a lot of harmonies and people in that.
Oh my God, yes. And then to know that they actually were like friends, like coming up in the game. It's like, it makes sense. It makes sense, And I would have loved to hear a big old Jones girls and the Emotions track. You know what I'm saying? It would have sounded like a beautiful choir of like angels, but but it would have been amazing. Amazing
harmonies on that record.
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
And the great thing about the Emotions voice is, and like you mentioned, like it starts off all sweet, is that you have these sweet toned voices, but they're strong at the same time. So
correct.
And it's hard to have that combination. It's not a lot of people that have that aspect to their voices.
They have range too. They have amazing range. And the thing of it is that people sometimes forget the strength of their voices and how they're able to give you like that soft, sometimes whispery kind of delivery, but then hit you with the gut punches, because remember, they started all as gospel singers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that gospel influence, it never leaves you. When you hear so many other singers like Whitney, Faith, Kelly, just so many different people. You can always tell, like, oh, that's from the church.
Yeah.
And it's hard to actually Kelly Price just spoke about this. It was and she learned this from Mariah Carey.
The Terrell show.
Yes, how to just sing real pretty and make it soft, but still make it where it's you singing, but there's a certain type of discipline that you have to have with your vocals, and that is something that the Emotions did very well, very, very well. Very, very well.
It's the blends, and that's what people don't understand.
Yes,
you can have all these 5 girls singing like Elise, like me and her talk about this. When they have like the Divas Live, and they have the lads, what I'm saying? They come and do the last song. It's always "I'm Every Woman" by Shaka Khan. It's always
something like that. Yeah,
the women's anthem moment. Yeah.
Yes, and just try to oversing each other, and it don't sound right. The blend.
Yeah, and it's like. And on them stages, it's 10 women, and they're like the 10 greatest singers at the time.
Right,
it's too much at one time. It really is too much at one time.
Yeah, so it's not like you have bad singers. No, you have very good technical singers,
talented singers,
but they don't have that blend. And I think I made the joke. The JR was like, I love ice cream. I love pot roast, but I'm not going to put them together.
That's true, though.
It's true. Very true.
And that's very true. Like when
it's very true.
Show, she threw me for a second. I was like, wait a minute. But it makes sense because you might like the state of something, but
it does.
Put them together, like
it makes sense.
And the Emotion girls, they knew, like I always say, it's a sister that can come out and bring another sister in, and you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't know it because they knew how to blend with each other. But like y'all said, they had powerful voices, but they knew how to blend it together. And of course, shout out to Maurice White, who had that vocal ability to blend them together as a vocal arranger.
Yes. Because mind you, and I want to put this out there too. They had hits prior to Maurice White's involvement. Let me just put that out there. And they had already had tight arrangements because they were vocally producing themselves.
That's all. Okay, so they were vocally producing.
Yes, just like the Jones Girls. Both groups vocally produced their own selves. So even though and it's funny because on Whitney's first album, it has her credited as her own vocal producer, FYI, if I didn't know that.
Really? Yes. I'm surprised Clive gave her that much.
Yeah, well,
I was waiting for that to come.
Well,
that train
remember, this is back when mamas used to step into the situation.
So Sissy had something to say.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna play with my child.
Right.
Period. But yes, they would vocally produce themselves, and they were also really amazing writers, songwriters as well. They wrote a lot of things for themselves, and they helped contribute songwriting to Earth, Wind, and Fire as well. So, I mean, you're talking about a really talented group of women and sisters, and by them being a sister group, I mean, when you grow up singing together, naturally, y'all haven't sung in months or years together, but naturally you just fall back into line. Look at how the Emotions are, the Jones Girls were, hell, even in this may sound like, I mean, to think a little far-fetched, but I'm saying as far as even look at how the Braxton sisters, they can just be at the kitchen table and just bust out singing together. Or if you've ever seen how Latasha and Tamika are with their family, they'll just bust out and start singing. It's just when you're a sister group or grew up singing together, it just naturally just falls into place. Whereas though most times groups that are put together, that is something that has to be really drilled for them to get that type of instant type of connection. Because if you ever listen to Kelly Rowland and Beyonce, Kelly knows how to sound like Beyonce.
Facts. And nobody understands that. But yes.
That's why she can blend with her so well, because like, I can sound just like her editing the top note.
Yeah.
But they've been singing together since they were 9. So it instantly is a, you know what I'm saying, connection. That's one thing I love about the Jones Girl. I mean, sorry, the Emotions. Those harmonies are just magical. And then to see them perform that song, my first time seeing them, it was a clip of them on Soul Train that I found.
Yes.
When I say took my breath away, I'm like, oh my, and they weren't like overly glamorized or anything, no, but you could not deny that God-given talent in this. And even when you heard them speak, they spoke so soft. Like they were just such like the most poised women. Like, yeah.
Yes.
This song here, yeah. Like very put together. Very put together. And you know, it was their stage presence, that it just everything about him. And you know, that hearing that song led me to listen to the rest of their catalog.
And then for Skip to write this song, because like you said, they were great writers. You know what I mean? They were great writers. And you would think the way they sung this, that it was their song. But I mean, it is. But you think like it's their song. And Skip wrote such a beautiful song. Skip Scarborough. He wrote such a beautiful song. And he writes beautiful love songs. Because he wrote Love Ballad by LTD. And that's my favorite love song of all time, period. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's been down with kind of like Earth, Wind, and Fire. You know, he's been in the mix with them for the longest. So for him to write this beautiful song, Don't Ask My Neighbor, but then 20 years, 15, 20 years later, no, it wasn't that long. It was like 10 years later, he writes Giving You the Best That I Got with Anita. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that his vocal, like this dude, I want love like that. Because if you can write love songs like this and then write A Lovely Day for Bill Withers, it's like, really? Like, this dude knows how to write love songs, but to give this beautiful song to these girls, and they bring it so great, because it's not, we know these girls can sing and they got power, but it's so smooth. And it's like every part is so dope. You know what I mean? And
you get lost in the instrumentation and then their vocals. And so you actually have to go back to really get into the lyrics. Because you're so caught up in just their tone and their voice, you know, because their voices literally are an instrument. And so once you get past that and then you get into the lyrics, you're like, oh, this is telling a story. You know, like, if you want me, I'm right here. Don't ask somebody else about me. Come to me.
Yeah. Like, don't be asking these hoes in the street. I'm right here.
It just sounds real pretty how they do it though. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds real pretty.
Right, especially the don't
like you know, like, you know, you can holler at me, boo. Don't be worried about them people in the street. Cut the middleman. I'm right here, boo.
I'm right here. And you asking them about me.
Yeah. Come to the source. You know?
Right.
Who are y'all right now?
I'm just saying. I'm right here.
That's true. That's facts, though.
Like, hey, boo. I know you see it.
Oh my God.
Well,
I cannot.
Oh gosh.
They said don't be afraid.
Yeah. She put her cards on the table. I like that. To have a woman singing that song, like,
Yeah.
It's damn
near sexy. It's
like
damn near sexy.
Yeah, it's like it's sexy, passive aggressive.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
God.
It's passive aggressive as shit. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
That way,
okay.
right? You know, especially back then, right, where men had like these egos, right? Where as though I'm coming at you direct, right? But I'm not attacking your ego. So you still feel like the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm using my womanly power.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's like
Lord, you in.
I'm letting you know that you can come here. I'm letting you know that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what you were going to do, it's okay.
Because I ain't trying to be asking, who can I run to? Shit. Because I'm not fucking running. You won't come to me.
Mm-hmm. I ain't running nowhere.
Just saying.
Oh God.
Be like, meet me in the middle.
Trying to give you the best of my loves, and here you go.
Okay. Y'all are really giving the emotions they flowers right now. Like, I'm loving this.
Yes, flowers. Yeah.
I don't want to lose your love.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
They wrong. This is
You know, we're having a love vibe. That's all.
But it's all true and it all connects. Like, come on.
Connect the dots. Connect the dots, Brian.
It's a story. It's the story.
It is. It is.
It's a story. Like, hell. I'm just saying. What she was going to ask, boo, my bad. I went on a little tangent.
It happens a lot on this show.
You know that. You know.
That's the best part. But yeah, how's this song affected your life or how you listen to music?
Girl. Oh my God. How I listen to music. Through that song, you know, that was the first time I realized how music can really make you feel some kind of way. You know, as a kid, I didn't understand the lyrics per se or the message, but I just knew something about this feels right. It feels good. It feels warm. You know what I'm saying? It just drew me in. And so now, you know how they say music is supposed to be able to connect with it in some kind of way. So now, well, from then on to now, if I don't feel any type of connection or, you know, the instrumentation, right?
Right.
You know, production, like now I'm very critical. When I hear music, I'm like, that could have been produced a little better.
Like, that ain't no emotions there.
You know, no, like seriously, you know, you start to really pay attention to not only just, oh, is it a good little beat, but like, is it quality, right? Did the artist really deliver on that song? You know, and then it made me realize, you know, even now looking at certain awards, right? You know how they have like at the Grammys, like best R&B performance, right? Or like best, you know, whatever. And so I love those categories because, you know, I feel like sometimes with artists, even though they may not always write their music, their contribution to that song and how they deliver it helps make it what it is and a hit. And so for that category to pretty much say like, you sang the hell out of that song, you know what I'm saying? Like you gave us what was needed. I love because that is, I believe, correct me if I'm right, I know they won a Grammy, right? The Emotions. And I want to say, for the song, I think the song was either Best of My Love or Boogie Wonderland. I think it was Best of My Love though. Okay. Yes, it was Best of My Love. but their category I think was like best R&B performance or something like that, right?
Performance or duo or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Which is like everything, because it's like, yo, we're crediting them for what they brought to this song that made it such a hit. So now when I look at other people that may sometimes in these categories, I'm like,
you was gonna say it, I was gonna say it.
Oh, I don't mind saying it.
Oh, we know. We saw you over there grunting and stroking your beard. You ain't low. You ain't low.
No, like seriously, it definitely has influenced how I listen to music. And if you guys ever notice, some of the greatest vocalists of all time, performers, singers, and mind you, I'm not a person that's stuck on like awards or like Grammys per se, but I am a person where I'm very observant, and I do notice that most times those amazing singers are not always awarded as much from that particular award show. But I mean, you look at Mariah, look at Whitney, like look at the emotions. I mean, they have, a few, but when you look at what they can do and what they've accomplished and what they've contributed, you would expect more. But past all of that, it definitely has affected, especially groups. How I listen to groups.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, everybody should be harmonizing. And you should be able to deliver that in person and in a show. And I watched several clips of these legendary women, okay? And that's even, mind you, let's also put into effect, even when because it technically is 4 emotions. Let's be very clear.
Yes, it is.
Okay? And when somebody got pregnant, all right, swap out. It's all good. And it's still going to sound the exact same, as if you ain't missed a beat.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And that is something where, though, I pay attention. And I've noticed over time, like, it's different when somebody isn't there. You know what I'm saying? It's different. And that's in multiple groups, not just one group. In multiple groups.
Oh, yeah.
In multiple groups. And production and, having this, because when you hear music, right, at least for me, I automatically imagine, like, what is this gonna sound like live? Like, what is this gonna give live? Like, is this a song that's gonna sound amazing with a band? Like, is it gonna give what you need? Because I'm a person, I love live, shows and performances. And so, I want that, and so I am always cognizant of that when I hear music, like, and this is all types, even in like rap and hip hop. I'm like, oh, their bars was good, but that beat is so lackluster. Like, I don't get anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't get anything from it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't pull me in. Gotcha. Like, it doesn't make me be like, damn, like, this is my joint. Like, no. No. And this, like, and with Don't X My Neighbor, you just knew, like, when you hear it, like, this is what timeless music sounds like.
Yes.
This is what a classic song sounds like. This is a song that what we call copyright.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, and it's one of those songs that has been not sampled, covered.
Covered, yes.
A lot. Mm-hmm. Sometimes good, and sometimes, yeah. So
most times bad though, but
child, listen.
I love that brownstone though. That brownstone, right?
Now I still need to listen to their version, and you told me about it, and I haven't heard it yet. I need to go and check it out, and I'm quite sure it's amazing because them heifers can sing.
Yeah, and they can blend, and they come from that same like kind of mindset of like we can control it. It's these very, all of them have very, very powerful voices, like over the top powerful.
Yes, in range.
Which bugs me out that they are able to blend that, because you know they could have been off one little something and it would sound horrible.
Sometimes when you have powerhouses, it could be too much sometimes. Because everybody trying to belt out.
Yeah. That's
it could be
that's what y'all told me, because we did this before and y'all was like, what did I like? And I said I like J's, right? And y'all was like, ugh. Y'all gave me like, you sure? But then I went back and listened, because I haven't listened to it in a while. And and obviously I listened to it as the full album, so I was just in it. Then when I listened to it, I was just like, it sounds, the production is just.
It's so bad. The production is very choppy. It's so thin. It's like skim milk. It's look a little blue. Like it's.
And you know what it is, boo? It's rushed. It's rushed.
Because the girls sound great. Like they sound great.
Because Jay can sing.
Yeah.
Jay can blend. So that should have been, you know, that should have sounded great.
That's a song that you don't rush. You take your time with that.
Together.
But
you take your time with that.
But you know, back then they used to, everybody had to do a cover. So I think it was like, you know what? Let's rush this and do this cover, because like you said, bro, the production sounds rushed. It does. Clearly, that's why it's the last song on the album, to be honest. So it's like, it's the last song and that's it. But to leave out on a song like that, it's kind of ooh. But I'm like, I was so into it. I was like, oh yeah. But then when I went back, I was like, yeah, y'all right. Like the production just wasn't hitting. It wasn't hitting.
Because like even as you hear it, it sounds like it's sped up. Like they're like, I wonder if I care about. I'm like, no, it's. I wonder if
yeah.
Like it's not. No, it's not that fast.
Well, we also know somebody that did it. They did it very slow too, as a duet, and it just was not great at all.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to go there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, and both of them have like, the problem is our girl Tisha. She just wants to show she can sing, and you don't got to do that. We know you can sing. Just sing. Don't do all these high notes.
I think for her, you know, she thought that she was gonna, I think she thought that she was going to have like a full circle career, meaning like she would be able to hit so many different areas of her time, because she can sing, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to say she can't. She can sing.
Yeah.
But I think that we just love her so much as a actress that, and mind you, we don't mind you singing in your acting roles. We like that, right? So maybe if you did like theater, like do theater, but being an artist, I don't really.
You got to push.
And to be honest, we didn't even get into that song until it became a key on Martin.
Even though y'all, I may be the only one in the world, but I actually dig her album she came out with. Like, it's a couple songs on it.
The one that was out back then?
Yeah.
Well, no. I've never heard it. So I'm not
gonna, she came out with the album because it had shut up, Elise. She had Love Me Down on there. She got what is it? Push. She got I Like The Feeling Is Right. It's very New Jack. It's very New Jack, but it was
for that time period.
Too late. It was just too late of an album, honestly, because by then y'all know '93 music has changed. Mary done came in.
New Jack had slowed down.
So she got lost in the sauce, and basically they was just using her being on Martin as the promo for it. You know what I mean? And everybody was like, "Oh no, we like Gina. We ain't got time for this." You know?
Yeah, if you came out like 92ish, that was like the last rim of like New Jack.
Yeah.
And so like you had like your Mary, your TLC, like, you know, they had their influence, and then after that it was New Jack was done.
Yeah. You're
not
not here for it, at least. Okay.
All them tired ass drums.
You know what? Their rendition was on the Sprung soundtrack, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they had a whole music video for it too.
They had a music video and all that.
Yeah.
But what did Pam say on the show? We know who's the real undiscovered diva.
Discovered diva. She said, Gina.
It's it's not shade if it's the truth. So.
What's up?
Oh, Gina. Yeah.
Now all I can think of is damn Pam on the Biggie episode.
Yeah.
Be over here singing in the background.
That episode right there.
Yo!
It really takes me out.
Oh
it
my
really takes
God.
me out. You know what? I miss TV like that.
Yeah.
I really do. Like where, again, timeless work.
And like, I love how, what's her name said, Debbie Allen said, she said, we can have a little coonery, but to a limit. Let's have it to a limit. So you can laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have it to a limit. Let's don't take it overboard. Because we know Martin had a little bit of foonery and coolery in it. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But we was able to laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, you watching these shows like on Netflix, I ain't gonna call out no names, but some Netflix shows, and you be like, this is not even funny. Y'all trying to make it funny.
But you know what show? I know we're kind of off topic. I'm sorry. But you know what show is on Netflix that I actually really like? I watched the whole thing straight through. The Upshaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Y'all didn't like that?
I'ma try it now, but
y'all didn't like that?
I'ma try it because I've never seen it.
Have you tried? Have you seen it?
The only good thing about that show is Kim Fields.
Well, oh baby, Kim Fields is everything.
But everything else about it.
Okay, now, hear me out, y'all. Hear me out. Oh no, Kim Fields is what sold me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kim Fields sold me. Like, I was impressed with the topics that were being touched on. Okay. Honestly, that is what especially for our community, you know what I'm saying, and being very realistic about them.
Yes.
And very honest. And so that is kind of how I drew in. Now, prior to this, I was never really a big Wanda Sykes fan. I didn't think she was all that funny. But in the show, I like her in the show. This is the first time I've probably seen her in something where I was like, oh, this, like, I like her in this. Okay. I like her character in this. But it took me a minute at first because I was like, I'm not watching this. But I was like, let me give it a chance. It's Kim Fields. Who don't love Kim Fields? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's Black Hollywood royalty. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we love Kim. Okay. So I watched, and it give it a chance. Okay. Give it a chance.
I will.
Give it a chance.
I will.
That's not, and probably because also I love seeing our people working. So that's probably also too.
I hear you. Give everybody a shot. I hear you.
But some stuff I do like, because I'm mad at Tyler Perry right now. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but yes,
just back like to the music.
This our very good friend Maxine has a podcast called Mostly Max to Other Things. When they go off a tangent, everybody's always like, I guess this is the other things, because it always kind of it starts here and then it. It's all good.
Listen.
Conversations. It's fine.
They got the key out of this. Listen.
But yeah, they got the what?
Key.
Oh, I just couldn't. I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I say it wrong? You know me.
Facts. Yes. So, is there anything else you want to say about the song? And if not, we'll go ahead and find out what you got going on.
Just, you know, the song has always been a favorite of mine. And truthfully, it wasn't really until now that I really realized how much it had shaped my view of music. I didn't really realize that. And it's a song that I have been listening to all my life. And thank God for like streaming services like Apple Music and stuff where I can listen to it every day. Every day, all day. But it is such a staple in music in general, but definitely in Black music. And I really wish that these ladies would get their flowers, especially because they only have one member left.
Yeah.
So that is why legacy acts like them I go so hard for, because it's like, you know, don't wait until they're all dead and gone and be like, oh, they were so, you know, amazing.
Right.
When they were right here in your face for 40, 50, 60, 70 years and you didn't say not a damn thing. But, you know, if you ever want to, it's a song where if you're a group, you want to get your vocals tight, practice that. Practicing that, you know, and how to have control of your voice and your breathing. And I mean, all of that is included in this one song. Like you can take so many notes, musical notes, vocal notes, instrumentation notes, you know, production. It is a classic. It is a staple. So kudos to, you know, these amazing women called the emotions. Because literally you feel some type of emotion when you hear them.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell the folks how they can find you and what you got going on, because you know you stay popping. So.
Hello.
Girl. No, y'all stay popping, okay? Let's be very clear. Y'all booked and busy. So y'all can find me on IG at Mr_Dress and Rest, right? You know, all I do is dress and rest. You know,
and
little
rest. Yeah.
poetic justice. Oh,
Poetic
and
justice,
kudos to that,
baby.
because Poetic Justice is celebrating 28 years of being released. So kudos to that. So you can find me there, where you can find all things, you know, for no goofy shit, soulful Sundays, hit for hit. And then we also have the No Goofy Shit page, which is slowly starting to get back to being active. That's _No Goofy Shit. It's pretty much very, very simple. But I will be bringing, if you guys do not know, I'm also an event planner. I have a production company called Hard Program. I've had it since 2010, so we're now going on 12 years. Yes.
Ooh, okay.
We're going on almost 12 years. And so I will be bringing those talents along with the No Goofy Shit brand and bringing it together to do a Soulful Sunday event in person on October the 10th. It'll be like my soft launch. So I want to eventually get to a thing where like once a month maybe, or once every 6 months, I'll do like a big Soulful Sunday like day party experience type of thing where some of the artists that we love and adore that I have interviewed that have been on the show may possibly be there. I may do an in-person interview so that the guests can see it in person and get like a little mini show out of it. So I'm building all of that. But with this first event, it's going to be just a regular, like, you know, day party, but not really regular because, you know, I like to give an experience. So, you know, you're going to be getting dressed and only $35. People get to experience this amazing spread of food, a bottomless mimosas and sangrias, a DJ, cocktail hour. You know, it's all of that coming through. So I'm excited to share those other talents that I have of doing events and productions and things. And so and then eventually, depending on COVID, I would like to get back into doing my fashion shows. There's so many other things that I'm trying to do and get back into. And then I'm working with Allure as well now. As their creative director. So I'm working with them. Yeah, getting them back out in these streets.
Come on now. Come on.
And fingers crossed, they're actually in the works. Hopefully it'll come through. Prayers up that they may be opening for En Vogue in September for their show in Atlantic City. Nice. So if that all happens, then that will be the first time people will see on a big stage my skills as a creative director and choreographer. So things are on the up and up. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm really, trying to get things going. And I'm just blessed, grateful, thankful. And with the Soulful Sunday event, we will be celebrating 1 year of No Goofy Shit and Soulful Sunday. So, and to have done as much that I have done and connected with such amazing people like y'all in this 1 year time, I'm just like, wow, okay. Okay, Lord, like, I see it. Like, thank you, so I want to just celebrate that, enjoy that. And literally, I've met some amazing people through my love of music. And so,
Yes. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. And we also want to thank everybody that's watching right now. And we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That.